A bank clerk accidentally discovered that a recently deceased customer's card still held 30 million Thai baht. The deceased had no children, relatives, or friends, and according to regulations, the money should be transferred to the bank's public account after the customer's death. However, the bank clerk did not follow the rules and secretly withdrew all the money. Staring at the bag full of cash, the man smiled with satisfaction, but he had no idea that this money would drag him into a terrifying conspiracy. This is the latest 2025 Thai suspense film Everybody Loves Me, When I'm Dead. Deep in the mountains of Bangkok, a woman suddenly died at home from an illness. Because she lived alone in a remote area, her death went completely unnoticed. Her sudden passing unexpectedly exposed a trillion baht underground financial network in Thailand. At the Sinwatana Bank in Bangkok, a teller named Pech received a call from his friend asking for help. The friend's father had passed away suddenly and left behind a large debt. He wanted Pech to check if his father had any deposits in the bank. Without thinking much, Pech searched the system using the information provided, but the man's father had never opened an account at that branch. Hearing this, the friend was disappointed. Just as Pech hung up the phone, a name suddenly popped into his mind: Thanamjit. Thanamjit was a woman who loved saving money. She deposited every penny she earned into the bank, even just a few baht in small change. But despite her habit of saving, she hadn't come to the bank in years. Thinking of his friend's father's death, Pech decided to check her name in the system, and what he found shocked him. Thanamjit's account contained 30 million Thai baht. Even more surprising, the account had been inactive for 2 years. According to bank policy, if no deposits or withdrawals are made within 5 years, the account becomes frozen and can only be reactivated by the account holder in person. This discovery made Pech's heart race. Not long ago, he had accidentally crashed into the Rolls-Royce of a local gang boss named Sek and owed a huge debt. Though he had paid hundreds of thousands of baht over time, Sek was still not satisfied. Frustrated, Pech once tried to resist, but Sek's men beat him brutally. Now, seeing the huge balance in Thanamjit's account, a bold idea formed in his mind. Perhaps she was already dead. He reasoned this because she had always come to the bank personally, often depositing coins, and the other tellers hated dealing with her. Back then, Pech was a new employee eager to build savings accounts, so he welcomed everyone. Because of his patience and good attitude, Thanamjit always came to him. Over time, he learned that she had no family at all. If he could withdraw that money, he could pay off all his debts once and for all. But as an ordinary teller, he didn't have the password or authority to do it. Staring at the numbers on the screen, Pech felt torn. Just then, his eyes fell on the assistant manager, To. To had high-level access and could handle frozen accounts, but he was an honest man. If he found out the account holder was dead, he would immediately report it. Still, the temptation of the money made Pech restless. As he struggled with his thoughts, Sek called again to threaten him. Listening to the warning, Pech grew more anxious. Even though he knew the risk, he decided to take a chance. That afternoon, after the others left work, Pech pretended to stay behind to finish some tasks. When he saw To getting ready to leave, he planned to invite him out for a chat. But just as To picked up his briefcase, their manager Woot suddenly walked in. Woot told To to work overtime reviewing a client's loan application. To wanted to refuse, but before he could say anything, Woot had already logged into the system using his own authorization. After glancing at the file, To immediately saw something was wrong. But Woot said nothing and instead ordered To to finalize it by tomorrow. As Woot turned and left, To had no choice but to stay and work late. A little later, Pech came into the office. He told To that there was an issue with another client's loan and asked for help. To agreed and told him to pull up the file in the system. Seeing To reviewing Woot's client information, Pech decided to reveal what he knew. He explained that in their audit system, whoever approved a loan bore full responsibility. This client's documents were clearly flawed, yet Woot still pushed it forward and wanted To to sign it, trying to make him take the blame. Hearing this, To sighed helplessly. But as an experienced employee, To already had a plan. He would find flaws in the documents and reject the loan. He also agreed to help Woot because it could earn him performance points. Recently, the bank had implemented an AI-based management system that tracked everyone's performance, automatically flagging low performers for dismissal. Several longtime employees had already been fired, and To feared he might be next. That's why he became extremely strict with every review. He even planned to use his annual bonus to take his daughter on a trip to Paris.
แล้ว AI ก็ยังประเมินพี่ต่ำกว่าเกณฑ์ด้วยนะ
When To looked at his screen and saw his own performance marked as below standard, he froze. Woot's account allowed him to see everyone's evaluation scores. Seeing the low rating assigned to him, To felt bitter. After all his years of hard work for the bank, this was his reward, a failing grade. It meant that next month he might receive a termination letter. Seeing To's expression, Pech began to probe indirectly. He used the excuse that he studied statistics in college and started analyzing the system's evaluation standards. Although the higher-ups said the evaluation criteria were fair, the standards change every month, and if someone fails in a given month, it drags down the whole year's score. He opened Thanamjit's account, hoping To would join him in taking the money because, rather than letting the system decide their fate, they might as well grab a large sum before they left. Faced with Pech's invitation, To hesitated. Although To appeared successful on the surface, he was secretly suffocated by enormous debts. Every month he had to pay the mortgage and car loan and support his whole household. To's salary could cover these expenses, but his extravagant wife Ja cared deeply about appearances. She not only went to beauty salons every month for treatments, but also planned to send their daughter to an expensive private school. The school's tuition alone cost over 10 million baht a year, and To had recently been worrying about the tuition. Although 30 million baht was indeed tempting, To quickly sobered up, because if the bank discovered what they were doing, they would not only lose their jobs, they could even end up in prison. After weighing the pros and cons, he still could make a decision. Just as To was about to refuse Pech, a loud bang came from outside the office. It turned out that a colleague who had failed last month's evaluation received a dismissal notice today, and, in despair, chose to end his life. Looking at his colleague on the ground, To felt as if he saw himself tomorrow. He immediately changed his mind and agreed to help Pech figure out how to transfer Thanamjit's savings. But moving such a large sum without anyone noticing was not an easy task. To put his meticulous mind to work. They could not touch the money yet. They first had to confirm whether Thanamjit was indeed dead and whether she had any relatives. He first instructed Pech to try contacting Thanamjit using the phone number and address on the account, and only after confirming she was truly deceased and had no family could they proceed. Following To's plan, Pech called Thanamjit's phone, but the number had long been disconnected for non-payment. Next, Pech went to the address on the account and found Thanamjit's residence. When he arrived at the hut, he discovered that Thanamjit had become a desiccated corpse. After confirming Thanamjit had indeed died, To moved to the second step. He first unfroze Thanamjit's account, then had Pech withdraw 2,000 baht in cash during a routine transaction. If any relatives noticed an expenditure on the account, they would come to the bank to inquire, at which point they could claim the withdrawal was made in error. They waited anxiously for a week, and the bank received no related complaints. Only after confirming Thanamjit had no relatives did To and Pech finally relax. They used the same method, taking small amounts from Thanamjit's account when other customers came to withdraw money. After a few weeks, To and Pech had withdrawn more than 2 million baht in total. Under their prior agreement, To took 1.3 million baht and Pech took 700,000 baht. With the money, To immediately paid his daughter's registration fee and used the rest to pay off other debts. Pech took his 700,000 baht to see Sek, intending to pay the repair bills in one go. But when Sek saw Pech suddenly produce 700,000 baht, he was still not satisfied, and he threatened Pech to bring another 1 million baht or face consequences. Facing Sek's endless extortion, Pech drew a small knife he carried on him. However, his resistance was utterly useless against Sek. With no other option, Pech called To, asking him to withdraw another 1 million baht. To, worried that moving funds too quickly would trigger the bank's risk control, told Pech to wait another month before taking more money. However, the two of them did not know that the money in Thanamjit's account did not truly belong to her. It was actually owned by another crime boss named Kamnan. Years earlier, Thanamjit had worked as a maid in Kamnan's household, and Kamnan, with lots of dirty money he couldn't store, had secretly deposited it in his maid's account for safekeeping. But after receiving the money, Thanamjit disappeared. When he was younger, Kamnan might not have cared about that small amount of money, but now he was struggling and desperately needed it to survive. After inquiries, Kamnan learned that Thanamjit had a daughter named Kim, who ran a beauty salon in Pattaya, and he prepared to go there to find her. When Vodka, the subordinate, learned the boss had 30 million baht, he turned greedy. He ambushed Kamnan from behind while Kamnan went to the restroom and killed him with gasoline. After killing Kamnan, Vodka rushed to Pattaya and found Kem at a beauty salon. Kem thought Vodka was a customer coming for a massage, so she treated him with warm hospitality.
จริงๆผมมีธุระจะคุยกับคุณนะเรื่องแม่คุณนะไม่ใช่แม่ที่เลี้ยงคุณมานะแม่จริงๆของคุณนะแม่คุณเคยทำงานเป็นแม่บ้านให้เจ้านายผมขโมยตังค์ไปหลายล้านแล้วก็หนีไป
She was stunned to learn her mother had stolen millions of baht. She assumed Vodka was there looking for Thanamjit, but she had no idea where Thanamjit was. Kem had been abandoned to her aunt at birth and raised by her aunt all these years, so she did not even know what her mother looked like. She did not want to be involved and did not want to find her mother. However, Vodka told Kem that her mother had died years ago, and he had come to ask for her help to withdraw the stolen money. Seeing Vodka's fierce and intimidating look, Kem didn't dare to refuse and agreed to help him withdraw the money. But Vodka did not notice that just before leaving, Kem secretly took a syringe of anesthetic used for beauty treatments from a drawer. Meanwhile, To encountered a client making a large withdrawal, and he planned to use the opportunity to take more money. However, when he opened Thanamjit's account, he discovered that over the past few days, amounts of 100,000 baht had been repeatedly withdrawn, totaling more than 1 million baht, leaving only a little over 20 million baht in the account. He immediately realized it was Pech who had been secretly withdrawing money. Fearing Pech would keep everything for himself, To decided to use this chance to withdraw all the remaining money. But his authority only allowed him to approve up to 10 million baht. Anything above that required reporting to the bank, and the account holder had to be present for the report. After thinking it over, Pech came up with a plan to package the money into 3 parts and withdraw it in 3 separate transactions. Just as Pech was about to leave the bank with the money, Woot suddenly showed up. It turned out that the withdrawal of over 20 million baht had triggered the bank's risk control system, and Woot immediately investigated To's authorization records, quickly discovering that he had reactivated a dormant account and stolen a customer's savings. Hearing Woot's accusations, To didn't try to argue. He tried to play the sympathy card, begging Woot to let him go, and offered to give him 70% of the money as a deal. But Woot remained unmoved by To's pleading. Still, he wasn't completely heartless. He promised to keep To's secret if he returned all the money to the customer and then resigned voluntarily, which would save him from going to prison. Faced with Woot's proposal, To was very dissatisfied, but he had no choice but to agree. Woot claimed he would return the cash to the vault and took all the money away. Helpless, To returned to his car, frustrated and unsure of what to do next. But as he sat in the car thinking, he saw Woot loading the money into his own trunk. Seeing this, To realized he had been deceived. While he was debating what to do, Pech texted him, saying they needed to discuss their next move. Following the address Pech sent, To arrived at a dock. But as soon as he got there, he saw Pech tied up by Sek. Before To could react, a few men surrounded him and pinned him down. It turned out that Pech had brought 1 million baht to Sek to settle the repair debt, but Sek had changed his mind. Seeing Pech suddenly come up with 1 million baht in a week, Sek forced him to explain where the money came from. Beaten black and blue, Pech confessed to stealing the customer's money. Realizing that the client's deposits could be secretly embezzled, Sek wanted more and ordered Pech to lure To the dock. Under Sek's threat, To quickly thought of a way out. He told Sek that Woot had taken all the money. Sek immediately took his men and stormed to Woot's house. When he saw To, Woot tried to intimidate him, but before he could finish his words, Sek stabbed him without hesitation. The sudden violence left To and Pech completely shocked. They knew Sek was ruthless, but they never imagined he would kill Woot outright, and that was only the beginning. After getting the money, Sek still wasn't satisfied. He ordered To to steal another 20 million baht within a week, or he would kill them both. To was devastated. He never thought that one mistake could spiral into such tragedy. But what was done was done. Regret wouldn't change anything now. Looking down at Woot's body, To made up his mind. If he was going to die anyway, he might as well risk everything. He and Pech decided to find more dormant accounts, take as much money as possible, and flee with their families. They cleaned up the scene first and stuffed Woot's body into a freezer. Then To used Woot's phone to message the internal group, saying he was taking a week off. The next morning, To arrived at the bank early and began searching the system for dormant accounts. Just then, Vodka showed up at the counter with Kem. When Pech learned that Kem was actually Thanamjit's daughter, he panicked. But with nothing left in Thanamjit's account, he didn't know what to do, so he turned to To. When To heard that Thanamjit had a relative, he panicked too. If the bank found out, they wouldn't just lose their jobs, they'd end up behind bars. After thinking it over, To decided to stall Kem first. He approached her politely, asking if she had brought any other documents. When Kem learned that so many documents were required to check her mother's account, she felt troubled. Her birth certificate was still at her aunt's house, and going back would take at least a week. She took out her phone to call her aunt, but to her shock, Vodka pulled out her birth certificate instead. Seeing the document in Vodka's hands, Kem realized something was wrong. But even with the birth certificate, it wasn't enough. Pech told them they needed a court certificate to verify Kem's identity before accessing the account. With no choice, Vodka took Kem to the courthouse. However, Kem refused to go with him. She asked if he had been to her hometown because only her aunt could have that document. Vodka stayed silent, and Kem's heart sank. She realized something terrible might have happened to her aunt. She turned to run, but Vodka grabbed her arm. Just as he was about to act, Pech, who was leaving work, happened to pass by. Seeing Vodka trying to hurt Kim, Pech immediately sensed danger. He jumped onto his motorbike, rammed Vodka aside, and escaped with Kim. At a nearby bar, Kim told Pech everything that had happened. Learning that the money was stolen criminal funds, Pech came up with a plan. He called To and told him who Vodka really was. The two decided to turn the situation around and solve the problem once and for all. To told Pech to inform Vodka that Sek had stolen the money. Then he went to the dock and told Sek that Vodka was coming for the money. When Vodka heard that Kamnan's money had been taken by a gang boss, he rushed to the dock to confront Sek. Vodka looked dangerous, but Sek was no pushover. Within minutes, a brutal fight broke out inside the warehouse. Sek underestimated Vodka's skill. His men were quickly knocked down. During the chaos, Pech was accidentally shot. As the fight continued, To picked up a gun from the floor and shot several of Sek's men. But before he could finish Vodka turned the tables and overpowered him. To begged for mercy, claiming he was forced into everything and willing to give up the money. But Vodka didn't believe him. Just as Vodka pulled the trigger, Kim grabbed the anesthetic syringe from her bag and stabbed it into his neck. She told Vodka to take the money and leave, and not to hurt anyone else. Vodka didn't argue. He picked up the bag and walked out of the dock, but as soon as he reached the door, he was shot dead by Sek's backup men. Unaware that the bag contained cash, they fled the scene immediately. Seeing the bag left behind, To's eyes lit up with excitement. He took out some of the money and offered it to Kim, but she refused. To didn't insist and dropped the money to the floor. Instead of running away, he decided to pull one last trick. He left all the money to his wife and then went to the police station to turn himself in. He claimed that the manager and gang members had stolen 30 million baht from a dormant account. He and Pech had discovered the truth and tried to report it, but were kidnapped by gangsters, and during a gang fight, the money was taken by another group. To believed that as long as the others were dead, there would be no witnesses, and he could clear his name while secretly keeping the 30 million. But he didn't realize that his clever plan would backfire. While awaiting investigation, a prisoner approached him quietly. It turned out that the owners of those dormant accounts hadn't forgotten them. They were money laundering accounts used by criminal organizations. They transferred money into those accounts and used the dormancy to hide illegal funds. After seeing the news, the criminal organization decided to eliminate To to prevent any information from leaking out. When To was killed, an extra 20 million baht appeared in his account, making him one more tool in their money laundering chain. And that was the full story of the 2025 Thai suspense thriller, Everybody Loves Me When I'm Dead. Overall, the film's quality was quite good, and who would have thought that dormant accounts could have such a hidden function? Have you ever heard of something like this? Well, that's all for today's video. See you next time.